All right, so welcome everyone to my new interview here. I'm sitting here with a well-established avatar creator, avatar creative color. Just really excited just to spend time and have a conversation with you about all of your talents and creations and your journey towards representation and avatars. So before we jump into that, just
Yeah.
want to appreciate you for all of that. It's really great. Um, but yeah, no further ado. Yep, you have to see that pillow here. But yeah, no further ado, I'd just like to jump into our first question here, starting with your introduction. Can you introduce yourself, including your pronouns and what you want people to know about you as an avatar creator and a creator in social VR?
Yeah. All right. Well, hello. My name is Haylee, but I'm most commonly known as Hayweee. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm a creator for VRChat, just a creator of life, and yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, that's that. I'm really just excited to get into more of your story. We're kind of having a brief pre-conversation about all of what you do, and it's yeah, I'm excited to get to learn more. So yeah, getting further into that, what first pulled you into VR chat or social VR, especially from watching streams and seeing people draw or interact in those, talk and interact in those early worlds? Can you tell us more about your earliest memories?
Yeah, I definitely loved virtual worlds growing up. All the different types of games like Habbo and um, um, Club Penguin and like Fantage. So I was definitely into like open virtual worlds because that's just, I don't know, I like being social online. And one day I was on Twitch. I really enjoy watching live streams. And I remember seeing streamer Pokelols. He went on VR chat and I thought this was just insane. I thought it was wild how there were people that were not only in their own avatars, but they're also moving in the avatars and they're also, role playing and just being whoever they wanted to be. So I thought that was cool. And right when I saw that, I knew I needed to download VRChat and get in there and try it myself.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's. I feel like that's just seeing other people having fun. It's like looks like a common arc there. I'm really curious about
Yeah.
like how you introduced to that through I would say, what was your first like VR hardware like you got to get into social VR?
Mhm. Yeah, I was first on the Oculus Rift because at the time that was like the affordable option while still being able to connect to my PC. That was pretty important to me. I didn't want any like standalone type of things because I had a PC at the time, so I was able to, I don't know, just get the most out of the VR experience while still being on a budget. So yeah, the Oculus Rift was my first one, but the Oculus Rift ran into a whole lot of issues. Kind of maybe a year or two in. I don't even want to say a whole second year. I want to say maybe the first year I had my Rift. There was a common bug with the mic, and so sometimes people would sound really robotic. So after that was happening, then I knew it was time to upgrade, and then I got, which I now have, Valve Index, and I've had this since I've upgraded. I want to say maybe over 4 or 5 years now that I've had this, and it's been treating me really well. Actually, it's still going strong, surprisingly.
Awesome, yeah. Um, this is getting into more of just inspiration. I'm just thinking about this, especially as going from your first avatar selection. Can you describe what your first avatar was like? Was it, when I say first avatar, I mean the first one that you chose?
Oh yeah, to wear just around the VR world.
Yeah.
I definitely chose one that was more covered because at first I felt kind of just awkward being in what was really popular at the time of just maybe an avatar with like a small top and just some underwear. So that's why I really appreciated a lot of different hazy avatars, because a lot of that had Sims clothing, so it was like jeans, and sometimes there were some with jackets on. Like, I really liked streetwear at that time, so different labels like Supreme and, like, I don't know, North Face, or just different things like that. I really liked. There was a girl with like a beanie that I really enjoyed. Yeah, little things like that that made me feel comfortable. Obviously, there was avatars here and there that were more risque that I was wearing too. But yeah, the ones with more clothes definitely made me feel just more comfortable to speak in public lobbies and such. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. We'll definitely get to that too. I'm curious about how your journey kind of influenced your avatar journey. Is it it's kind of, it sounds like those two go kind of hand in hand, would you say?
Oh, most definitely. Yeah. Because I feel like our avatars, they're a representation of ourselves. And yeah, it's obviously we all have we have different sides of ourselves, right? So we have different outfits for different occasions, different moods, different days. But yeah, as I was exploring more styles, different styles, it felt like I was exploring different parts of me as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm actually bringing the camera just in closer just to show our audience about the jewelry you mentioned, because it's like let's see, is
Yes.
it would you describe it as I'm remembering like name like a cowrie, like I see like stuff in
Mm,
your hair as well. It's just yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like jewelry in your hair.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely enjoy adding different pieces that are cultural. I've been learning a lot about cowrie shells and just shells in general, and how many people in the African diaspora use these as symbols of abundance, and it's almost like using a lucky sock, carrying a lucky charm with you. So I like enjoy seeing jewelry like that, and just very intentional jewelry as well.
Absolutely. Curious about would you say it's like, yeah, no, that's just, there's a lot with that. I kind of want to jump into that too with like culture wise. How many with your journey, I'll kind of go back into your background, and specifically background. I would say family wise. How would you um describe that in terms of how that influenced uh where you are
Mm.
now with your cultural representation?
Yeah. Well, I was born in Canada, and so was my dad. So I'm very much Canadian, I would say. But my grandparents, they bring in a lot of culture into my lives with their cooking and with the music that they play. Um, and so I have two grandfathers from Barbados who were born in Barbados, and I have a grandmother who was born in Jamaica, and another grandmother who was born in Trinidad. So since my grandmothers do the cooking, I was introduced to a lot of their culture first. I feel like I'm the most comfortable with Trinidadian culture, but I actually recently went to Jamaica and I learned a lot while I was there, and I felt very connected there. So, in terms of culture, I wanted to create more surrounding that. So, with this avatar specifically, I have a toggle that maybe I can show you later. I don't want to make
Yeah,
anything lag. But
yeah,
I have a toggle for bandanas that have different flags on them. And I wanted to specifically add Caribbean bandanas because I know that's like just a popular thing to do within the Caribbean. It's like wherever you're from, there's some bandana that has your country's flag on it, at least as far as the Caribbean goes. um, So yeah, I wanted to add that to my avatars because just like in real life, I have a bunch of bandanas that have like the Bayesian and Trini and Jamaican flags on them. So yeah, and then also just me learning more about jewelry and just different hairstyles as well. That's also different ways that my culture kind of ties into what I'm creating now. Not so much before because I wasn't too in touch with that when I first started making avatars. But as I've continued creating avatars and just getting deeper into my own 3D modeling journey and just creating in general, I've sort of shifted my values into or focusing my values on myself and where I'm from and all of that. So I make sure to add that into my creations now. But that definitely didn't start out that way. So it's been a journey.
All right, so we're back here in another part, just Haywee's awesome world. I'll have some more footage to share just about just the gallery and everything that's in here. Just really excited just to showcase it and kind of chat about it with this delicious looking food here on the table. But yeah, kind of continuing into this into the story a little bit. I'm curious about, like, can you describe that moment, or would you say it's a series of moments where you discovered at least that part, or like more of who you are, and like, can you say more about when that confidence grew to know more about your culture, and then share more about that in social VR?
Yeah, yeah. Well, that transition was definitely happening while lockdowns were happening. So I had a lot of time to be with myself and just figure out what exactly is next, what exactly is going on. And a lot of that time as well was spent in VR as I was, just sort of enjoying my time, trying to relax, trying not to be too freaked out. But so along that journey, I met a lot of very interesting people, and one person introduced me to a person on YouTube who just shares a lot of knowledge or information that isn't typically taught in schools or in history class or anything like that. So a lot of these things were very interesting to me, and this is also like happening kind of around maybe it was a little bit before the Kanye and Kyrie Irving kind of thing, but a lot of similar events like that were taking place to where I was looking into just alternative history a little bit deeper. And yeah, a lot of that was brought to my attention from people that I met through VR. So I'm very grateful that I was able to just meet a wide variety of people who were able to just introduce me to a lot of new things. And then from that, I also found just different communities within VR. There is a whole world called VR Mystery School, and they have a lot of resources for books, and they also have like group meetings. I ended up joining their Discord and like into a couple of the meetings just to hear, what was being talked about and discussed. But yeah, a lot of me transitioning into learning new things that I had never heard before was through others in VR. So yeah, definitely shout out to the people. And yeah, through me learning about history is when I learned about the importance of, like I was saying, my hair, clothes, food, different things like that. So that helped me get more in touch, more comfortable, and then just allowed me to want to own what I have more rather than trying to be like what's popular, what's trending, beauty standards, and things like that. So that all really helped me feel more confident in who I am and knowing who I am, and knowing that I don't have to try to be lighter, because a lot of my beginning avatars as well were a lot lighter than like shades that I am right now. They were a lot lighter than what is actually reflected beyond this headset. And that was because of insecurity and trolls and just a whole lot of lack lack of self-confidence. So as I was learning too, my avatars also got darker. They also started to mirror more of my skin tone rather than just being a tan version of the fair avatar, stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely. I'm just thinking about that. I'm also just seeing the it's described as just a wide variety of avatars that you have up here, and I'm kind of thinking about that to just see the growth. It's very wonderful to see that.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Yeah. Speaking of which, though, I'm curious about into a little bit more into the craft and kind of the technical parts. Um, can you kind of walk us through your path from changing eye colors and accessories? Can you tell us more about your journey learning that and making your own assets? How did that start, and like kind of take us through the years? I'm curious how that's gone so far.
Yeah. Right. Well, yeah, I first started getting into like Unity and Blender from just purchasing my first VR chat avatar. Because yeah, I bought a model and I thought it was great, but I for some reason was really into like purple eyes at the time. So a lot of the models I was buying, because I had to take it into Unity to upload it, I had friends at that time that were well versed in the VR world and avatars and all that, who knew how to do little edits and stuff like that. So I had a lot of friends that showed me how to edit like the eye colors, like you were saying, and how to add little jewelry on little small bones, how to just change different textures and stuff like that. So I first started with like bare minimum, just sort of choosing my favorite colors and labels and stuff like that. And then I'm not even too sure how long into that I wanted to swap outfits, because I had some models I liked their face, I liked their hair, but their outfits were not my favorite. And at that time too, I was into The Sims a lot and into just downloading Sims mods. So, you know, there was a lot of Sims clothing that I was, you know, familiar with downloading, and I've used Blender like once or twice for like a Minecraft related thing, so I already had it on my computer. And yeah, with the help of YouTube and the help of some friends that I had at the time, they really helped me learn how to swap out clothes and different things that I could only do in Blender. So yes, shout out to YouTube and the friends. And so after that I was doing that for a while, and I was just making avatars using other people's clothes, hair, bodies, faces, and all of that, until there was sort of a switch. There was a shift where a lot of creators no longer wanted like Sims clothes and different assets from different games to be sold within the VRChat community. So once that shift happened, and I was buying assets, I felt like I could learn how to make my own, because I was looking at a lot of tutorials for weight painting and swapping out clothes anyway. So there was also tutorials on make your own like little pieces of jewelry. I think a chain was the first thing that I made, like a necklace, a Cuban chain. And then I remember also seeing a lot of tutorials for Marvelous Designer. So then I got into Marvelous Designer and was making clothes. At that time, I did not care about like the technicality of it, the optimization of it. So it was crazy numbers. It was super big, very, very big files for just a jacket, for just some pants. It was insane. But at that time, I was just kind of learning how to design. And then as time went forward and I got some complaints about my things being way too high poly, then I actually learned about optimization and just the best ways to make more things just more user friendly and more friendly for VRChat as a platform, rather than just making 3D models for them to look good. Um, so yeah, went from little edits in Unity to swapping things out in Blender and then making my own things, and the whole journey of learning about optimization and making things look good. So
Oh yeah.
that all happened over the span of like 3-ish years. Um, yeah, with some breaks in between.
Yeah, no, that's really I'm just thinking about this from the perspective of a newcomer, especially given we start to have more newcomers here, especially after the closure and the closure of multiple different platforms and kind of the degradation of certain other platforms. What it means to have a continuation and kind of longevity of options. So that's really great words of advice for people just having ownership of their identity in virtual spaces and what it means to carry that. So I'm curious about anything else about just ownership of your avatars. Would you say um, if you have the time, would you say it's worth it to invest some time into making your own avatar, or even uh, commissioning artists, or does it depend on, what would you say from your perspective, it depends on for something like that?
Mm, yeah, I feel like it really depends on your interests, honestly, your hobbies, because avatar creation can be very time consuming. Um, Blender and making an asset, even just putting an avatar together from pre-made assets, that takes a lot of time too, to weight paint, to put into Unity, and to put the features of the avatar that you want for toggles and this and that. All of it takes time. So to get into it, I feel like it would really help if you had an interest in character creation. I mean, for me, I was really into virtual worlds, open worlds, MMOs and stuff, because you could do the character creation, because you can make whoever you want to be. You could be whoever you wanted to be. So that was really huge for me. So I knew that I wanted to get into customizing my own avatars, because I really enjoy character creation. I enjoyed dress up games growing up. I'm into fashion. I'm just into different design elements like that. So if that is something that you're interested in, I would definitely recommend taking the time to learn to make your own, because not only does it give you a nice, fulfilling, satisfying feeling being in game, making an avatar that you spent a lot of time on, even if you didn't actually make anything from scratch, even if you just sort of put together pre-made things, having a completed model in a game is just feels very whole, just feels very complete. It feels like a full circle moment, like that long gratification of working on something and then finally being in that thing, saying, I made this, looking at yourself and just enjoying what you made, especially seeing it move. That was my favorite part in avatar creation. But if that's not something that you're generally interested in, then going to any sort of public avatar world and finding an avatar, because there are so many available, I feel like that's just as good. I feel like there's a lot of free models as well when you join different Discord communities. So there's a lot of just open resources already. But if you are very into it and you want the satisfying feeling, not only does things feel satisfying, but you can make a profit out of it too, because this is a growing community. Like, people are putting a lot of money into VR, people putting a lot of time and effort, and people really take this place very seriously. People take these platforms very seriously. So if that is something that you're interested in, you can make a profit, and it's very, very, very good passive income if you're very consistent with it. If you enjoy what you make, if you put the effort into what you make, it's great passive income, and I definitely recommend it, especially in this economic climate. So if that's something that you're interested, definitely get into it because you can really you can grow, in many different ways. Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just really glad that we're touching on just advice, really, because that's which really are. I'm curious too about just advice, but before we get into that, I just seeing how, and I'll just move my camera just to make sure I can get our audience to appreciate this a little bit closer here. But as you're talking, we see your like hair moving, and I want to get to know more about like your process with hair and just how you got to like this moment. Because it's really beautiful to see, like on a technical level too, how you got to this for avatar here, so and representative
Hmm.
avatar. So I'm curious about your journey with that, and I guess specifically about this one here. So I'm gonna bring the camera just a little bit closer here, and then but yeah, we can kind of just chat about that one.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I feel like in my personal journey, I've sort of moved away from avatar creation into asset creation because, I mean, one, avatars take a very long time to make, and after a while, it just got very frustrating for me. But I found that there's so many avatars being made, and it's amazing. But one of the things that I found was lacking in this community was hair for black people. And I find that there was a few creators that were making braids, that were making locks, but it was every once in a while here and there. And yeah, I didn't find that there was too many people that were doing that, so I decided to just give it a go, even though there was not a lot of tutorials on it. So that was sort of the learning curve because there's not a whole lot of different just resources in how to make locks and curls and braids with it being optimized for VRChat. But I did learn that there was different plugins and stuff like that for Blender that help with that. So giving some sauce, when I discovered a plugin called Anime Hair Maker, which allows you to make braids and allows you to make twists very easily. And it's just a matter of positioning and trying to stylize it correctly how you want to. That really launched me in a whole different direction, and I was like, you know what? Now it's time to focus on hair because there's a very big lack on that. So I think my first POC hair was like a puff. I did like an afro puff with some curls coming out of it, and that was really interesting to do because I've seen a lot of different afros and stuff like that in like The Sims and IMVU, but how it was made was slightly different. It's not optimized. So I was just trying to find different ways that I could sort of fill the puff with something and then just have the curls on the outside to make it appear like it's a puff full of curls. So that was pretty interesting. But then I was really happy about this hair because I feel like I don't see too many twists or like box braids or anything like that. So when I made this, there was a really good response with this hair, which is they're just twists, honestly. But it sort of just replicates just having long flowy hair, and I really enjoy it. And then yeah, from this then I've also made a couple of other curly hairs, and my most recent hair that found a lot of success on Instagram Reels and on TikTok was my locks that I made. And I honestly, I took a lot of inspiration from how IMVU hairs are made, how they're constructed, but a lot of people in IMVU, I think, model in 3ds Max, so the structure of the hair is different. So I was trying to just make it optimized for VRChat. That's like the number one thing, really. So I was trying to make some simple tubes that looked like the shape of locks, and then I added some loose curls on the end, but really the texture of the locks really pulled everything together, and especially like the parting with the scalp and all of that. So yeah, I was really just trying to experiment, but also use inspiration from already pre-made things, because there's already lots of locks and braids and twists and stuff like that in these 3D spaces, not necessarily for VRChat, but for other games. And I feel like using these things as inspiration and finding ways that we can make it our own, finding ways that we can make it for VRChat, is great. I feel like there's nothing wrong with that. I feel like that's, you know, how artists create. They use references, they use inspiration. So yeah, that was really huge, and now I'm mainly focused on creating hair. And yeah, I'm working on a hair commission right now, so that's really exciting. And I want to make some male locks. I want to do the whole POC hair catalog, but that's definitely being developed because it takes time. So yeah, these avatars right here, the ones on the top and the bottom, those were my very first free to use models. This is Trix, and then this one on the bottom is Onyx. And I am very thankful that I see so many people in this Onyx avatar, even Trix. I see a lot of people in these two, because these been around for a while, and there's just a lot of different options in terms of, like, Onyx has twists, but there's also a straight hair option for, you know, people who don't feel comfortable wearing twists in their hair. So yeah, I saw someone in that avatar yesterday, and that felt really good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and then I also have these two models right here. These are two chibi models which performed really well. People really, really liked them. They went pretty big. There was a lot of success. I saw a lot of videos like on TikTok, and yeah, just different people using these models, dancing in these models. They said that these models are really nice to dance in, so I really enjoyed making those too. They don't necessarily have a lot of POC features in them, but they're just sort of just fun models for people who, I don't know, wanted to be in something small and feel comfortable to move around in. And then because they did so well, I thought I wanted to make an updated version with a more POC flair. So that's when I made Chi-Chi, and down there is Pookie. This is Noah, or this is Naomi, and then down there is Noah, by the way. But yeah, so let me switch into Chi-Chi, and I hope you don't lag.
No, I should be okay.
But we shall see. And yeah, Chi-Chi is definitely a chibi. So she's very small.
Okay, I see. So for audience, I guess the concept, not the concept, but like the it's like avatar genre, I guess. Like chibi is supposed to be like a small.
A chibi, yeah, I guess it's just a more childlike avatar, kind of gremlin, kind of, I don't know, it's like if you're in a more like loud, rambunctious, yeah, sort of just feeling like you want to cause havoc, or maybe you just sort of want to be in the corner a little bit, maybe you don't want to be too out there, maybe you just want to be just chilling in a small avatar. That's what these avatars are for. And I used to love wearing chibi models because I'm kind of shy. So these models, it's like I'm not entirely... Oh, I lagged a little bit. And these models, I don't feel like I'm being too perceived. Like I don't have all my stuff just out there. It's sort of more just chill. So yeah, this is the puff that I made. That was like the first sort of curly POC kind of focused hair that I have. And so yeah, with the single puffs you can like raise it and lower it. Yeah, just because I like the different styles to be able to do that with my own hair, so I really liked doing that. And then There's also double puffs. There are people like that, like those two. And you can also raise these and lower these as well. Yeah. And then of course I have like a bunch of different hair colors and stuff. Like on these models, I really, I guess, pride myself, in lack of better terms, for like the customization that I can do, which is why I was struggling so much when the update for, you know, only adding a certain amount of megabytes per avatar, that really bothered me, because I like adding a lot of textures and materials, and just so people can have as much customization as possible, especially when it comes to a public avatar, because you can't go in and you can't, you know, customize it in Unity. So the best that you can do is what you have. And so there is I have this hair that was made by Poppy Alyssa that I shouted out before, and I sort of just added in the baubles and stuff to make it look more fun. Yeah, and then I also made a set of locks for them as well. And this head was also made by me. It was my first head that I've ever made, and oh, it was a lot. But I'm just happy that I did it. So yeah, I'm very, very happy with how these models came out. And I see these models a lot on TikTok as well. So yeah, I really like them. Yeah, I made these locks, and this is one of the first locks that I made, but the next pair of locks that I made after that are made a lot differently. I added like a whole lot of curls. This is very much inspired by how IMVU lock creators make their hair. So I wanted to sort of carry that forth here, because yeah, I took a lot of inspiration from that, but I wouldn't do it like this moving forward. Like, I feel like I found a better just method of doing it, but had to start somewhere. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it's like
as inspiration.
Like a whole like universe of different kind of not just hairstyles, but I guess hair techniques, where it's like even that kind of travel through. We're talking about IMVU, and I haven't even gone. I've been the Second Life, but I haven't been the IMVU to. I've just seen IMVU avatars before. I feel like they're both kind of in that same, I don't know, genre, but it's like IMVU feels. I guess Second Life is older, but IMVU still has like more. I don't know. What's your perspective on that? Like,
oh man, I really don't know. I feel like I'm not really in that player community too much, so I can't really say which ones are more active. But I do feel like both of them are very still active, even though there's not a whole lot of noise behind them. There's still a big community in IMVU and in Second Life. They're just more, you know, quiet, more on the down low, kind of like how the VRChat community is. It's, you know, more, unless you are inside, you don't really notice how big it is. So it's still very much alive. Yeah.
I'm gonna get a closer.
There's some times that I go on.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just getting a closer look at the. You said these are like the original locks, like very first locks you made.
Yeah, these are my very first locks that I made.
Okay.
And you know, they're pretty good. But yeah, I would definitely do them a little bit different this time around.
Like hair and bones, like how do you manage? And I guess the concept of bones too is new to newcomers, but like how do you manage hair and bones, and what is it a trade-off with style versus like what you're trying to do?
I guess it's sort of depends how flowy you want it to be. Depends how much movement you want. Because bones, I guess, also add a certain amount of memory to an avatar. I'm not too technical with it, so I don't know the specifics, but I would assume the more bones that you add, the more hefty your avatar would be. So I try not to add bones in every single lock. I more so try to group them together. I don't know if you can kind of see it in the bangs. Like these two are grouped together. I have these three grouped together. So
Yeah,
I
I
try to
kind of see
make
that.
more so groups. Yeah. But when you're moving so fast, you don't really notice it anyway. So not every single strand does not need a bone. Um, but as long as you make small enough groups to where it looks flowy enough, uh, that's pretty good. So yeah, grouping the bones helps. And there's also in different Discord servers, people will actually share their fizz bone settings, which is really helpful.
Mhm.
Uh, because depending on how many bones, I guess, depending on the length of the bones or whatever, the different things will move differently. So it's kind of important to just do a little trial and error with how you
Oh yeah.
like your things to move. Because yeah, I definitely have like settings that I have bookmarked that I have saved that I have as my personal favorites, but they don't look the same through all the hairs that I use because different hairs are weight painted differently. So
Yeah.
it's very much trial and error when it comes to bones and setting up how it moves and stuff like that.
I
Yeah.
noticed the onk. Is that right? You have on your hand.
Yes. Yeah. 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 I have an onk on here. Yeah. A part of me learning about uh, my history brought me to Egypt. So I really kind of fell in love with the Ankh as like a symbol of life, and yeah, just lots of different things related to I don't know, like an ancient sort of divine symbol. So I also have an Ankh on my bracelet
Okay,
here.
over here. Okay. Oh yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
Just your like
Yeah.
slides. Even like the toenails are also like customized. Like.
Yeah, I made like a little a toe ring. That
Oh
was a
yeah.
custom
Okay.
thing. Yeah. The toenails just kind of came with the body base,
Okay.
but like the foot arts or the foot's jewelry that's on the foot was
Oh
made
wow.
by me, as well as yeah, just the whole slide in general, and then she has like a ribbon kind of going up her leg, and yeah, that
Okay.
was also made by me. Yeah, so we got this Jamaica one. Oops.
Uh-huh.
We have Barbados. Added Puerto Rico.
Oh,
I added a
nice.
bunch.
No, that's great.
And then I put, yeah, Antigua and Barbuda. We got Bahamas. And I made these flags for free. So
Wow,
anyone can
that's
download
great.
them. I also, yeah. Oops. I also made a version of these flags for you to put it inside like your pocket, so you don't have to wear it on your head. Yeah. And so because I made them for free, and I only added a certain amount of flags, mainly in the Caribbean.
Uh-huh.
And so I made it to where people could request me adding more flags. So I've had a few requests since I put it up. Yeah, and it's been pretty cool. Oops.
Yeah, I just really enjoying the
There's a lot. So
yeah, there's so many.
yeah.
Like how many would you say in total? Is it like
Oh man, I want to say over 40 maybe. I don't know. Maybe between 30 and 40.
Yeah, well, that's great. I also like the representation too. It's not
yeah.
It's all oh, you made the US.
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Oh yeah. All right, so now we're towards the later portion of our interview here. I'm fortunate to be joining Hayweee here, and this is kind of like the beach area. We're looking forward to the looking out at the sea here on the dock. It's really nice, nice view. And joining us here, we got what's your name again?
We got Benji here, Boney Benji.
Okay. Yeah. It's really exciting just to join us here with Hayweee and Benji. I'm curious, is Benji was it like an inspiration, or did you just what's the story? What's the lore behind Benji?
Yeah, I was clothes shopping one day on this website called Dolls Kill, and I found a very cute plushie, which is this exact plushie actually. It's like a bear and it has this skeleton and like a cute little face, except it doesn't have the mouth in real life. But I do have this plushie on my bed currently, just because I thought
Cool.
it was cute and it sort of reminded me of like a edgy VR chat style that I typically was seeing a lot at that time. So I was like, yeah, this is quite perfect for VR chat. So I recreated it in Blender and yeah, added it to a few avatars and it's now here in my avatar world. So a lot of pieces of me
Mm.
within my creations. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's awesome. I didn't realize there's like a reality crossover in a way because you're able to have like a touch like the fabric of Benji and IRL and then VR is it like a presence thing too?
Yes.
Do you have like is Benji like nearby like right now too?
Yeah, yeah. I am sitting on my bed and Benji is like right over there. Even like when
Cool.
we were sitting over there, there is a little plushie that was behind you. Her name is Mocha and she's also on my bed. And it's just very different having a real reference. Like that's it's honestly one of the best things to have something real that you can touch and that you can feel the fabric of. Because for that plushie, I actually took photos that I used for the textures. So that was very interesting too. That was
Oh
very cool.
yeah. Oh yeah. Well, I'm just thinking about that too from perspective, but yeah, that's really great. Also thinking about this from I guess the perspective of this will kind of be a little bit of a interesting segue here I'm thinking about, but about this from the perspective of connecting with different, I guess, realities and self-discovery and having, I guess, this be like touch points, different touch points that you have in like your life that you're able to move around. And I guess what I'm getting at with this is earlier we were talking about self-discovery and I guess spiritual grounding to different things. I'm just curious about um, parts of your journey in that kind of nature and um, how you advise in that, or at least speaking from your perspective on what you've learned with your journey there and what you've carried into social VR. Could you like say more about that?
Yeah, I feel like for me, it was really important for me to go through like my own spiritual journey, my own personal growing path, because it really just helped me get more in touch with my art. I feel like with everyone, it's really different. You know, it's really hard to say if I would necessarily recommend that because everybody has different things that they've been through, different pasts and different present situations that they're in that may or may not be within their control. But I feel like I was at a point where I had a lot of creative freedom, I had a lot of autonomy, I had a lot of free space to do just my own things, my make my own choices in terms of art and in terms of what I was consuming. So I definitely recommend that people get more in touch with themselves if that's what they're interested in. Maybe, you know, if people kind of struggle mentally, if people kind of have their own things that they're sort of working through, I think it's really important to explore more of that some more, to get in touch with your own emotions, especially on the VR space, because I see so many people and, you know, not only externally, but internally, myself, I was at a point where I was struggling mentally and I was using VR as a way to escape my own reality by coming in this reality and just, you know, talking a bunch of trash with a bunch of people and just, you know, laughing and not caring. But then eventually I have to take off this headset and I gotta look at myself in the real mirror and sort through that. So it was really important that I took the time, you know, in between my VR sessions and even taking time away from VR to really reconnect with myself, to really get deep into the roots of a lot of emotional things that I was going through so that I could be more connected on an authentic level to what I was creating, rather than just creating from what's trending or what I think people will enjoy, what I think people will buy, and really creating from an intentional space, making things that I think people could also learn from and also connect and relate to. So yeah, I really value personal growth a lot, and yeah, I think it's very important that people stay open to that, whether it's finding a group of friends that they can talk to, that they feel comfortable talking to, whether that's in VR or outside of VR. Just different things that allow people to express more openly. Because yeah, I was definitely using VR as a way of distraction, and but that was the very thing that also turned me into who I am today. That also turned things around into a more authentic version of me. So yeah, all of it's very important. Whether you're in a lost place right now, that is just adds to your journey of finding yourself as time goes on, as you learn more, as you meet more people. So yeah, all of that is very important to me, and I definitely recommend everybody takes time with themselves to do that as well. If they're in the space, if they have the openness and the will to do it, because it's all up to you at the end of the day. No one's gonna force you to heal or do whatever you need to do. But yeah, getting in touch with yourself definitely helps you get in touch with your art as well. So,
and this is getting closer towards my end list of questions here, but I'm curious about what advice you have for Black users or people of color, users of color, creators entering VRChat, especially given closure of Rec Room and Spatial, and even just the kind of degradation of Horizon Worlds. It's like, what advice do you have for them about entering VRChat, and then where can I'd start there, and then I have other parts of that, but I want to kind of start there.
Yeah, I feel like I definitely recommend people of color to express more authenticity in these spaces. I feel like there's a lot of very authentic personalities out there. I feel like I hear so many huge, hilarious, just amazing personalities, when it comes to people of color in these spaces. But as far as representing themselves, the avatars that they use to represent themselves, I feel like there could be more authenticity in that. I feel like there's a lot of trendy looking creations, or creations that are very inspired by like IMVU, GTA, and The Sims, which are cool, but a lot of that I feel like is very similar in design, similar in brand names that are worn by those avatars and stuff like that. So I feel like if people of color were to bring in their own interests, because not every person of color is interested in wearing Hellstar or Nike even, or little things like that seem to be on all of these avatars. Like there's some people who really enjoy completely different things that you wouldn't really typically relate to a person of color or that culture necessarily. And I think that's just what's so beautiful about these online spaces, is that you could be anything or anyone you want to be. So I feel like just bringing in more authenticity, more personal touches, bringing in more of their own interests rather than just sort of what's popular, I think would be amazing to see, because not everyone is alike. Everyone's very unique and very different in their interests and all of that. So I would love to see more designs of different skin tones that aren't typically aren't wearing what is typically shown, or just what's kind of here right now. But yeah, just things that are very more unique to yourself, like your blue sunglasses.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate just hearing that. It's there's so much to celebrate about us in terms of people of color and the uniqueness. There's so much in that. Yeah. Um, this is related advice to just we kind of touched on this earlier, but I'm curious about you're mentioning software and tutorials. So for someone who's just getting started in uh, avatar creation, can you just give a rundown of the software again for like what you recommend and what what kind of pathway depending on skill level and also just how much time you have, what you recommend for I guess beginner, intermediate, advanced, what's kind of your rundown of the software and I guess the
Yeah.
tutorials, what comes to mind?
Right. Very bare bones beginner wanting to upload your own model or a free model or just any sort of model that you have handy that you want to upload. Bare bones, you will need Unity because that's just what VRChat uses. So yeah, Unity is number one, and I definitely recommend looking into the I think it's, oh man, I haven't used it too much, but it's like a VRCC. It's like a creator.
Yeah.
They have like a creator hub for
Creator
Unity.
companion.
Yeah. And that's, yeah, creator
Uh-huh.
companion. So that's very helpful because you can very easily put different shaders and stuff into Unity without having to look in all these different places and import all of these different files. Like it's all sort of in one launcher. So I definitely recommend getting Creator Companion and Unity as just like a beginner thing and sort of getting comfortable with that. And then I would say a more intermediate thing is getting into Blender and learning how to export and import your models from Blender into Unity, learning the differences between like a Unity package and like an FBX by itself. But yeah, Blender has a wide umbrella of things that you can do, and it just feels like it's the wild wild west in Blender. So that could like really be a beginner thing or a very advanced thing if you want it to be, but again, like, it's up to the creator and what they want to do. So I guess it would be helpful to get clear on what your goal is, and then deciding if you want to stick with Unity or go into different programs like Blender. And then if you want to get even more advanced with it, there's different programs to make clothes and there's different programs to texture. So for a while I was in Marvelous Designer because I thought that was a little easier when it came to making clothes with more wrinkles and more of the realistic draping rather than having to sculpt clothes in Blender. But in terms of optimization, that kind of came with its own thing within itself. So those are different things that you kind of have to keep in mind in terms of performance wise. And then there's different texturing programs like Procreate, like Clip Paint Studio, I think is what I meant to say. Clip Paint Studio, you can texture 3D models directly in the program, as well as Adobe Substance Painter. I know a lot of people use that as well. I use that as well because there's a lot of brushes and tutorials for Substance Painter. And then with ZBrush, and I'm just talking about like just texturing. Those are 3 just texturing programs, and the texture is like the patterns and the wrinkles and the details and things that you see that are on the surface, but actually modeling the assets and stuff like that are done in like Blender and like 3ds Max and Marvelous Designer. So anyways, Unity and the Creator Companion is the very first and foremost thing, and then getting into more intermediate, getting more advanced into the customization of your own thing, then that's Blender. And then texturing in terms of like making your own models, then that could be like Substance Painter and there's a bunch of different options for that one. But yeah, that gets into the more advanced, making your own things from scratch. But Unity and Blender are my number ones, and then maybe Adobe Substance Painter and or Clip Paint Studio. But there's so many different ones, and again, I like just recommend looking up tutorials, maybe asking around, joining a Discord server and asking your favorite creators or someone who you really enjoy, like what their things look like. Maybe just taking the time to ask them and hoping that they reply, that they're willing to share. But yeah, definitely recommend just reaching out for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's there's so much software. It's like I'm glad you're able to help people kind of like steer people into the direction they need to go, because there's just so many different things that and so many different tutorials with them. So I appreciate that.
Yeah. A lot of different tutorials within one program. So it really depends what you want to do. So which is why it's important that you get specific on your goal, what you're trying to achieve and create.
Yeah, no, speaking of goals, this is kind of like a quick thought question I got for this. It's like I remember, because I'm more into world creation than I'm avatar creation, but it's still the same kind of thing where you're just picking out a goal. So I'm curious, do you start on, how do you organize that? Do you start on paper, or do you start on like a Excel spreadsheet? Or how do you organize, and what do you recommend advice-wise for keeping track of different goals if you want to get into different creations or get more serious about it?
I mean, first and foremost, I mean, I always start with inspiration, something that really catches my eye, and I'm like, wow, yeah, I need to recreate that. So sometimes that might be my own clothes, if I really like something in my closet that I think could look cool on VR, or a lot of the time it's Pinterest. I'm on Pinterest very often, just looking at different things that catches my eye, because I'm a very visual person, so I really enjoy looking at different inspiration from there. But I've also sketched out different ideas, different outfits together, just to see what it would look like as one piece. Like I've drawn different pieces together, or just different outfits in mind. I have a few videos of me drawing like a shirt that I had in mind, and then making it into Blender and bringing it into VRChat and stuff like that. So really, it just, for me, it starts as the idea, the spark. I think the spark is very important, because that's what drives the rest of the creation. And so it's really important that that spark for me is big, because it takes me a while to create things. So I really need to be interested in it, and have a good idea of what I'm making. So yeah, it definitely starts in my own closet, Pinterest, and sometimes my journals and stuff like that. And then I try to find a tutorial on something similar, like how to sort of make the shape or whatever it might be. Sometimes I can't find the exact thing that I'm making a tutorial for, but sometimes different techniques for like making a necklace is like the same technique that I would need for making like these waist beads or something like that. So finding little resources like that would help me get there is really helpful. Yeah.
Absolutely, yeah. Definitely great. Okay, so finally here, okay, to the end. Any shout outs? I know we've mentioned some names here in the beginning. I'm curious about people we want to recognize. Make sure you want to recognize who've helped you or inspired you along your journey, both in VRChat and outside of VRChat, and like what shout outs you have for them. We can take your time here, make sure we don't. We can always put in some extra names if we forget anyone, but yeah.
Oh, yeah. There's so many people, because I've been a part of VRChat since 2019, so I've met so many people. I've, unfriended so many people, but they're still very integral parts of my journey. But first and foremost, I want to shout out to my mom because VR is a very wild place. It's a whole world within itself that you wouldn't really understand unless you're in VR itself, unless you're taking in what's going on down here. So I would have to shout her out because she's always been so supportive of everything that I've done. Her just even, hearing that I wanted to buy a VR headset, hearing that I wanted to stream in VR, hearing that I wanted to sell different things and take the time to make a website and everything. She's just always been absolutely for that, even when I wasn't too sure exactly what I was doing. But, she saw the interest there and just how much time I was spending in here and how many friends I made in here because I didn't keep too many friends after I graduated. So yeah, she saw that was a very, there was so much potential here and she was always so supportive. So definitely shout out to my mother. I love her so much. She even recommended me being here today doing this interview because I was very nervous and I didn't really know what to expect. And I didn't even know what to say. I didn't think I had anything, super important to say or anything, but she was just like, yeah, you should absolutely do it. It's a great opportunity. So yeah, shout out to her because without her, I would not be here literally right now. So in many different types of ways. But when it comes to the VR spaces, man, there's so many people, but shout out to Poppy Alyssa. She was, one of the first, at least me, I found that she was one of my first Black avatar creators, or Afro-Latina creators making a lot of things for POC, POC users on VR. She was very focused on curly hairs and just the inclusivity of it all. So shout out to her. Shout out to Swissa. She was also making a lot of dark skin avatars as well. Honestly, shout out to Hayweee because Hayweee got me into a lot of these avatars. First and foremost, she was like one of the first creators that I ever like favorited their avatars was from Hayweee. And there's so much drama circulating, a lot of names, but honestly, as like foundation wise, these were some very important people. Darcy as well, shout out to Darcy. I want to shout out to Zen as well because Zen got me into just learning about what Play Space Mover was and just lots of different things. Like I think even oh man, there was another program where you could play like music through like your mic and stuff. He was telling me about that. Man, shout out to my homegirl Bree, which I met through Zen, and we're still friends. She was one of the first ever friends that I made on VRChat, and we're still besties. We're still locked in, and I love her so much. Shout out to Sachi because Sachi taught me so much about texturing. He taught me so much about material making and Unity, and Sachi makes some amazing models with some amazing features. Oh my gosh, I could just keep going and going and going, but there's so many amazing avatar creators out there, old and new. And I was talking to an avatar creator yesterday. Actually, it was really funny. I was talking to Peepers, and she was talking about like old avatar creators and how there's like lots of like newbies here now, but I feel like many of what we might see is like old avatar creators that were around like 2019, 2020, 2021, when different styles were in, when people were using the same kind of faces and bodies and stuff. Like those are very foundational parts of what VRChat is now, and I don't think a lot of people realize how much influence they had on these games for it to look like what it does now. And yeah, I just think that's huge. Like, man, there's just so many. Father, Evan, oh my gosh. Yeah. Big shout out. Aika, big shout out. Man, Haruhichi for introducing me to a lot of spiritual things. Rico, yeah, thank you guys, and keep doing what you're doing wherever you are in life. Yeah, keep creating, keep expressing, because you definitely make a stamp and imprint on people's lives. You don't even really realize it. They could be in your lives for just a little bit, but they made a big impact. So yeah, thank you very much. I feel like I'm definitely forgetting names, but
No,
I could go on and on.
yeah,
So
I definitely
yeah.
yeah, I understand for sure. It's like it's beautiful. Yeah, I'm coming back to the one more part. I'll just reflect some more. But yeah, how can our audience follow you and get to know more about your art, and as well as your store, and how they can stay in touch with your latest work, and support it? How can we follow you?
Yeah, well, I have a few different platforms that I'm on. I try to make all of my names the same, so you can find me in a lot of places under It's Hayweee, ITSHAYWEEE. There's 3 E's. It's Hayweee. I'm It's Hayweee on Twitch.tv. Sometimes I stream on there. I also have my own Discord server, discord.gg/Haywee's stash. I also have an Instagram, which I've been uploading a lot more 3D based things because my 3D Instagram reel did really well. So on Instagram, I'm Hayley.Sierra, HAYLEY.SIERRA on Instagram. I also just have a card with all of my links, which I believe it's haywee.card.com, but I'll have to double check that. We'll work that out. Yeah, and all of my links are there. It's the easiest to just contact me on Discord if you have any types of questions, or if you want any links to any specific thing. You can contact me on Discord by just Hayweee. Hayweee, HAYWEEE is my Discord. My only Discord server. I've seen a few Haywees going around, but yeah, just Hayweee. Hayweee alone is my only Discord. And you could feel free to hit me up at any time about anything. I'm pretty open, so yeah.
Awesome. Well, I just want to give obviously this is like a tradition of sorts, but just want to do some emojis of appreciation. It's really great to hear your story, and just I'd like to thank you for just hearing about just how rich and vibrant your journey and your life story is so far, and just how just thankful that we're able to take our audience more into your life and just explore that and hear more about your journey and advice as well. So I'm touched by that, and I appreciate that, like, seriously. So
thank you. I really appreciate you for the things that you do as well. I feel like there's so many people in VR with a lot to say, which is why a lot of people are here, just talking to strangers about their story and stuff. Like, I feel like there's so many stories that just sort of need to be put on a platform, need to be broadcasted to the world. So you're doing really amazing things, and I was just blown away when I watched a few of your interviews. I really enjoyed the information that people had to share, and just the depths of the whole thing. So thank you so much, Armani's Parlor, for putting this on. For just having the platform that you have, for having an interest in doing this. I think this is amazing, and I think it's really huge right now, and it's gonna be even bigger as VR and as the meta space grows. So thank you very much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you, and thanks again to our audience. I know you'll be as touched as I am with a Hayweee story, so thanks again. I appreciate it. Thanks for joining us.
Bye-bye.
Bye.